What is up, guys? My name is Zach. If you don't know who I am, I've been selling on Amazon for over 3 years. I've done over $2.5 million in revenue. I'm not going to go too much into how much money I make and my whole story with Amazon. If you want to know more about that, you can check out the first YouTube video on my channel. But long story short, I've been doing this full time for some time now. I've been in the space for a while, and I have seen so many Amazon sellers succeed, but also so many Amazon sellers fail. So I want to go over the main reasons that I've noticed new sellers fail and how you can avoid these, because a lot of these are very fixable if you just put some slight tweaks into your approach and your mindset and just your overall strategy. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So number one, they just give up too quickly. Guys, this is a business, and at the end of the day, nothing is going to come super, super easy. And the nice part about Amazon, there are slight obstacles you run into at the beginning, but they are very, very fixable if you just put your head down and work on solving the problem for like 20 minutes. So, for example, they feel like they can't get ungated. If you don't know what that means, basically, when you start selling on Amazon, you're going to need approval to sell the brands. And so a lot of people, they see that they need that approval and they just assume that it's impossible when it's the furthest thing from impossible. All you need to do is purchase 10 units from an authorized distributor and also take a picture of the 10 units once you have them in hand and submit both the invoice and receipt. And that's pretty much how you get ungated in 90% of brands. And so it's very fixable, but people just give up right away and they assume that it's impossible, which is crazy to me, but I guess just less competition for us. Also, a lot of people, they expect to get rich right away. I hate to break it to you, but like any good business, it takes time. If you could get rich right away, 99% of people would do this. It takes time. Now, you can achieve success very quickly relative to other businesses, but it is never going to happen overnight. You are not going to become a millionaire. You're not going to hit 10K a month within your first week in profit. That's just not how it works. And if it did, it would be too good to be true. Like, it would not be a realistic business model. Like I said, you can make really good money. It just takes some time and commitment and staying consistent. So it might feel a little bit overwhelming at first. Like any business, there are a lot of little things you need to do as far as setting up your LLC, getting the Amazon seller account registered, getting approval to sell the brands, knowing how to ship products, list products on Amazon. These are all things that seem tough at first, but they are all very simple. There are so many resources on all of the things that you need to do. So overall, it might feel overwhelming, but just stick with it. If you're willing to just put your head down and figure things out, you can very easily get over all of these initial obstacles and get to the real fun part, which is where you start making money. So, number two, this is super important. They do not understand how to read product data. If you have ever heard of people saying that their products aren't selling or they lost money on their products, 99% of the time, it is because number one, they are not using the right softwares. And number two, they just have no idea what they're doing. Because if we're using Keepa and SellerAmp, you can see how fast inventory is selling, pretty much 99% accurately. You can see how many other sellers are on the listing. You can see if the brand is on the listing. And if they are, and if they don't want third-party sellers, this is also something you can see. Now, luckily, a majority of brands are perfectly fine having sellers sell their brands on Amazon. So if a brand doesn't want any sellers, don't waste your time trying to sell that brand. And if a product is prone to falling in price, these are all of things that you can see. You can see if a product is not going to sell. You can see if you're going to lose money after shipping and fees. All of these problems can be avoided. In fact, I'm even going to give you guys an example. So let's just take a Skechers shoe, for example. We're going to go here. And let's just look at the data. So number one, we can see if an item is stable. Right here, this looks very, very stable. In fact, more stable than 99% of products. We can see the sales rank. The sales rank tells us how fast the item is selling. Just a general rule of thumb, the lower the sales rank, the faster an item is selling. So if it's anything under 100,000 sales rank, that means it's selling pretty fast because there are millions of products on Amazon. And if the sales rank is 100,000 or lower, it is clearly getting sales. We can see it has a good amount of reviews. We can see how long the listing has been in place, which is only 55 days in this case. And there's already 22 reviews. That means we know customers are buying it. We can see the buy box statistics, see which sellers are dominating a majority of the share. We can see how many they've sold. We can even go on SellerAmp and see an estimation of how many times per month this product is selling. In this case, over 515 amongst all of the sizes and variations. So we know this item is selling. There's reviews. We can see the sales rank. We can see the estimated sales, which is obviously not 100% accurate, but with SellerAmp, it is fairly accurate. We can see how much profit we are making after fees. So SellerAmp accounts for everything. Obviously, you're not going to sell an item for $104 and make $104. There's shipping, there's Amazon fees, and the fees vary from item to item. So we can see my fees here. This is the Amazon referral fee if you're selling FBA. So that is just generally 12 to 15%. We can see the fulfillment. We can see the shipping. This is my warehouse. I use a prep center, so they charge me per unit. I have all of that. You guys won't have this fee if you're just starting and you don't have a warehouse. But long story short, these are all of the fees you pay. So you know that you need to be getting this item at a certain price in order to be making profit after all of your fees. So there are no excuses to buy products that aren't selling. There are no excuses to unexpectedly, lose money after shipping and everything like that. You have so many resources, so much data. I can go on and on. There's so much more we haven't even looked at, but long story short, there is enough data to very rarely ever have issues with products you are selling. So make sure you are using SellerAmp and Keepa and actually taking the time to learn how to read these tools. You'll notice for every product you're looking at, there is going to be different information. For example, we can look at a product like this, and the Keepa chart is going to look totally different. Let's let it load here. You see, this item is falling in price. There are 6 sellers. Amazon is on the listing. Every single chart looks different. If you're not looking at this chart, you are going to run into issues that you didn't expect because you are just simply not reading the data. So we can see the price over the past year, past 3 months, over the past month, etc. We can see how many sellers, as I mentioned. I don't want to go too much into this. I made a video going all over SellerAmp and Keepa and how to use it. But long story short, we have so much data at our disposal. So you should never run into products that aren't selling, and you should never have any issues as far as that. Number 3, they want passive income right away without putting any initial grind. Now, don't get me wrong. You can get to a point within this business where you are making a lot of money without needing to work very much at all. But in order to get there, you need to put in a lot of work at first. So many people, they try to hire employees and virtual assistants right away and make passive income. I hate to break it to you, that's not how it works. If you're trying to hire somebody to do all of the work for you before you even know how to do it yourself, that makes no sense. Like, nobody is going to be able to do it if you don't know how to teach them how to do it. So don't try to hire virtual assistants to do all of your product research right away. Don't expect to not put in any work at the start and just make passive income. That is just not how it works. If you work really hard at the beginning, you learn what you're doing, and you put in the initial grind, you can continue to make money for years on end without needing to work nearly as much and travel whenever you want. But you need to put in that initial grind. You need to know how to outsource tasks to virtual assistants and employees, and you just need to learn how to run the business yourself before teaching anybody else how to do it. So, and going off of that, people just expect that this is going to make them a millionaire overnight. There are so many people on Instagram who show their Lamborghini and try to get you to buy their course on selling on Amazon. And it really bothers me because that just sets this unrealistic expectation. And then so many people fail because they realize, like, yo, I'm not going to get a Lamborghini right away. I'm not going to become a millionaire. This is harder than I thought. Yeah, like I said, it's very doable. It's very achievable, but no business on earth is going to make you a millionaire overnight, except for maybe getting lucky on some crypto coin, which is pretty much gambling. If you want to build a real business, expect it to take some time before it makes you hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. Amazon, all of these things are achievable. It just takes work and staying in the game for a while, and just like any business, staying consistent, learning, getting better so that you are doing more work and achieving more than all of the beginner sellers, which only happens if you let your work compound and you stay in the game and you get better and better, and your skills and craft just expedites. So another really important thing, you need to have systems within your business. If you are not staying organized, as you are starting to scale and make more and more money, you are going to be losing money in so many different places that you don't know about. For example, I see so many people, they're not even tracking their inventory on a spreadsheet. When you're buying thousands of units, You need a spreadsheet to stay on top of your inventory, or else units could go missing here that you're not sure about. You could be not selling products that you didn't even know. You're just completely unorganized. With business, especially with Amazon, it's very simple to stay organized. It's just a few spreadsheets. If you're not willing to build those and put in the time, I hate to break it to you, but you are just not doing what it takes to achieve success. You should be keeping track of all of the profitable leads you find. You do not want to be at the point where every day you need to hunt for new products and sell new things. Once you find winning products, many of the time you can sell them over and over again, but you need to be tracking these winning products so that you can let your product selection and your catalog expand without needing to just constantly hunt for new products. So stay on top of all the profitable leads you find. That way you can keep ordering it and really build a business. Also, as mentioned, you should be using a tool like SellerAmp and SellerBoard to understand your profit margin. There is no excuse to say that you didn't expect shipping and fees and then you lost money. You should be able to understand all of your fees and if you will be making money on an item before you purchase or sell any unit or inventory. It is just not an excuse. There are so many tools. It is very simple to be understanding your profit margin. At scale, it can be a little more tricky, but it's just as simple as using an accounting software like SellerBoard and having a bookkeeper, but that's not even something you need right away. Just start off with SellerAmp, maybe get SellerBoard soon after, and you will understand your profit margin and make sure you are not losing money. So very simple systems, but yet so many people I see don't do it, especially beginners. Very easy fix. Lastly, this is a little bit more about mindset, and I don't know, maybe a lot of people won't resonate with this, but I honestly think it's very important. If you don't believe in yourself and you think you need to be a genius or have all these technical skills or need tons of money or need to have ran a business in the past before starting this business, then you're never even going to fully try. You might open up your seller's account. You might try for like a day. But if your mind is telling you that you are unable to do it, you are not going to put in the work. And therefore, you are never truly going to become successful because you have a limiting mindset. Like it's all an energy thing, but it truly translates into how hard you're working on the business, how excited you are over the fact that if you grind on this business, you can change your life. If you don't truly believe that you can achieve success if you work hard, it's going to subconsciously lead to you never even working hard in the first place, and then you're never going to get anywhere. So you need to truly understand deep within your core that it is very possible to achieve amazing success with this business, but it's not going to happen overnight, and you just need to stay consistent and put in the work and believe in yourself and get better and better, and then it truly can happen. So you should feel excited. You should wake up every single day hungry to work on your business and learn more and more and get better. Those are the types of people who succeed. But if you tell yourself that it's not truly possible and that you're most likely going to fail, whether you know it or not, subconsciously, that is going to lead to you failing because you truly don't believe it's possible, and then you don't give it your full effort. So I don't know. That's just something a little bit more spiritual and a little bit more about mindset, not so much tactical things like the other stuff. But honestly, this is equally as important because looking back when I first started the business, if I didn't truly believe and know people who were crushing it with Amazon, I wouldn't necessarily have thought that it was possible either. And I wouldn't have worked hard and I probably wouldn't be where I am today. So it's super important to surround yourself with people who are ambitious and believe it's possible and are willing to put in the work to make it happen. So with that being said, those are all of the main reasons I see people fail. If you can avoid all of these and truly implement this advice, I promise you, you will be so much more likely to succeed. And honestly, it's impossible to fail at this point if you just stay consistent and don't give up too quickly and build systems and work hard every single day and believe it's possible. As cliche as it sounds, success is almost a guarantee if you just stick with it because you only fail when you give up. Oh my God. I sound so corny right now, but it bothers me because this corny advice is true. But obviously, we also have a lot of tactical stuff like needing systems and researching the product data and really knowing what you're doing. Everything is important. But yeah, guys, that's enough yapping from me. I hope you got some value out of this. Make sure to check out the bio if you want to see my Instagram. I documented my whole journey of the time when I started this business, my first day to where I'm at today. So check that out. Feel free to message me with any questions. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this type of content. And yeah, guys, I will see you in the next video. Much love. Let's crush it. Peace.